Everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited. It is Wednesday. Woo woo. So excited for Wednesday, my favorite time of the week when I get to jump on here with you live. So excited. All right. So we have great weather here. It is finally spring. Woohoo. I changed backdrop today just a little bit. So I'm in a new location. So excited. So if you look behind me, yeah, that would be me in the big Jeep. I should move it a little bit so you can see the big Jeep. All right. So I'm so excited to be jumping on here with you live. Let's see if I can spin it a little bit. There we go. So you can see the YJ in the background, out on an adventure, having an amazing time. So for today, we are talking about adventure. I know we've talked about it quite a bit in our last classes. But I feel like we're at that time right now that we're getting ready to start adventures. So we are going to continue with our adventures for our live today. So, all right. So I want to start with Jeep adventures are a ton of fun. But it can be tough to get started if you're not sure where to begin. And there's a lot that goes into your first Jeep adventure. I want you to be able to see the slides. All right, there we go. But there is a lot that goes into planning your first Jeep adventure, from picking the right route to packing the right supplies. But don't worry, I got you. I have put together 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventure today. By following these simple tips, you'll be ready to hit the open road and have some serious fun. So let me know as you are on here with me today. Give me a hashtag more if you're looking for a safe and responsible way to enjoy your Jeep on the trails. So I have put together our 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventures today. And today, like right now, start planning, start thinking, what are those? And as you're jumping on here, let me know where you're watching from. So, hashtag more if you are looking for more education, safely enjoying your Jeep, creating adventures. And let me know where you're watching from as you are jumping on here with me today as we jump into 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventures. Today, right now, we're going to jump in and we're going to get started. So, if you're new, hello. I am Kristen DeLibra from LadyJeepers.com. I help Lady Jeepers, so women who own Jeeps, to safely enjoy their Jeeps on the trail and customize and design their Jeeps so that they can confidently create a life of adventure without fear. I do this using our Confident Trail system, our courses, our in person events, our private concierge services. So, if you're the kind of person who loves a good adventure, then you and your Jeep are in the perfect place. But before we jump in and finish, I want to say hello to everyone. I love seeing all of these hashtag more in the comments. I love it. That means that we are going through some important information day together. I love it. So, thank you for that. I'm excited. Let's see. Oh, we got 2 Ohio's. We got Holland, Ohio, and Regina didn't tell us where, but hello, Regina from Ohio and Jody from Ohio. I love it. We have Maine. Hello, Barb. We got Cindy from Florida. Thank you, ladies, for jumping on. Oh, we got Alaska. What else we got in here? California. I love it. Oh, Regina, thank you. Such love my background. I changed it up a little bit because, I used to always have the big girl behind me for a lot of our lives when we were in our shop. So I know some of you ladies that have been here with us from the beginning. Uh, we had our own Lady Jeepers shop. And so this used to be up on the wall behind me when I would do my lives. Fast forward, COVID hit. Long story short, we are now back at my house working from the house. But don't worry, we're all still in here working away. But I was like, I'm going to try getting her back up in the background. I know I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit, but I felt like when we're talking adventures, oh, yeah, big girl's the best one to have in the background for adventures. Uh, Let's see. Pam said she's been a bit. I love that, Pam, in New York. Oh, we got Illinois. Hello, Linda from Illinois. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Oh my gosh. We have Cheryl from Illinois. I love it, ladies. So I'm going to jump in and get started so I don't keep you here all day because I like to think of this as our coffee break. And we're going to take our coffee break and our Jeep break. So I try to keep these short. So I think of it as like, your break at work. Okay, I'm going to take my break. I'm going to go get some Jeep information on, and then I'll be back to work. So I'm going to try to keep these as short as possible, but of course, is packed with as much information that I can share as possible. So I'm going to get through this for you ladies today. So we're going to jump in and get started. Oh, we got Canada in the house. We love our Canadian sisters. I love every time somebody posts that they're watching from Canada. It just warms my heart. Our Canadian representative that we have is amazing, Karen. You are fantastic. So again, rewind a little bit prior to COVID, and we had been talking about trying to go to Canada to do some Lady Jeepers Canadian events. Like we could be international, but things happened, things shut down. So we kind of pulled that off the board. But now the life is opening back up again, and we're going to have adventures. I'm going to put Canada on the list. So keep an eye out. Like super excited. So like even our US ladies who maybe want that amazing adventure and experience, keep an eye out. We can all go to Canada together. Just saying. Okay, back to my seriousness because I have a lot that I want to share for this class today, and it is really important information. So I'm going to get back to being serious. I know I have fun. I love being here teaching you, bringing forward education. I get so pumped up. So I'm going to rein it back a little bit because what we're going to talk about today, I feel like, is so important. I'm always talking about the dreams we want to get to, what we want our life to look like. So today I really want to continue forward on that piece together. So we're going to jump right back in and get started for today. Don't worry if you have any questions come up as we're going through this. Please make sure just drop them in the comments, and I will get back to those once we kind of get to a good stopping place. Because again, I want to make sure that we are able to get through all of this information together today because it is so important. All right, ladies. So if you're the kind of person or lady who loves a good adventure, then you and your Jeep are in the right place. Jeep adventures can be tons of fun. They can be life-changing. They can be the best weekends of our life. They can be epic. I'm sharing some of the things I heard from our extravaganza. But, adventures can be so much more than just going out and driving down a trail. That's part of it. But Jeep adventures can be amazing. They can be filled with fun, and they can be so much more. But doing so safely and responsibly can be a struggle, especially if you're not sure where to even begin. If this is new, sometimes doing anything new can feel like a struggle. It can feel a little overwhelming. So I know it can be hard. Like you're like, I want to take these adventures. I want to do these things. I want to go to these places. I want to create my bucket list. I want to check those things off. But then you sit down to really start thinking about it and you're like, ugh, I don't even know like where to begin. What do I need? How does this even work? So I know it can be a struggle. And one of the biggest struggles can be the fear of damaging a huge investment. I get that. I really do. That idea of I paid for my Jeep. Um, you know, um, that is something like I worked hard for, and I love her. I have emotional attachments to my Jeep. I am 100% in the forefront, honest about that. That my Jeep is much more than just a Jeep to me. If you have not read our Lady Jeepers story, jump over to ladyjeepers.com once we're done. And you can read the story of Lady Jeepers and how it started and my story. And you'll understand a little more my emotional attachment to my Jeep and to my Jeeps. But I will tell you, my purple Jeep in this picture, the fear of damaging her and the significant financial investment that to me was huge that I did on my own. I did it myself. I worked hard for this. That there's this different fear, right? Of this huge investment that I have made. And that's what they are. They're an investment. And, the fear of damaging that or figuring out how to get to work if your daily driver is down. That purple Jeep is my daily driver. This one, not my daily driver. It's my trail rig. So something happens to her, I bring her home and I can get her fixed, but not my purple Jeep. That's my daily driver. And, figuring out how do you get to work if your daily driver is down? For me, it was how do I get my daughter to school and picked up and to soccer practice and to her friends' houses and all of that stress, like all those things that just start playing through your mind, right? When you start thinking about going out for these adventures. And I would go to this place, I would go to the worst case scenario, like, or worse. Um, you know, what about the cost to fix your Jeep? Or you getting hurt. That can stop you in your tracks before you even get to head out for an adventure. And I get that. And I understand that. No judgment. Don't ever feel bad about what you're feeling. But these are some big things, right? We have a huge financial investment in our Jeeps. We have an emotional investment. We don't want to damage them. We don't want to break them. We don't want to be without our daily driver, especially as women. If you have other outside responsibilities, for children, for work, for your spouse, not to just mention your daily sanity. But then, of course, that financial cost of what would it cost me to fix my Jeep if I break it? Or what if I get hurt? What really happens to me? This is where I used to always go. And it took me so long to work through this. So I'm being honest with you. I would go to like, what if something happens? What if I lay my Jeep over? What if I roll my Jeep over? What if something happens? I get hurt? Because if I get hurt, I would go to who's going to take my daughter to school? Who's going to feed her? Who's going to make sure her lunch is packed? Who's going to take care of her? If you've met Chad, my husband, he's amazing, but that's not going to be his forte. Like she'd go to school with like a bag of chips for lunch or maybe mismatched clothes or still in her pajamas or it would be okay, but I'm saying that's where I would go to. Like, how am I going to work? How am I going to be able to continue living the life that I have right now if something were to happen to me and I got hurt? That is where I would go to. And like I said, it took time to work through that. So these are some of the major blockages. I've realized I talk so much to the dream, right? Like the adventures, the freedom, all of these things. But I haven't really dove in with you ladies in a long time about like the reality of what we're afraid of, the anxiety that comes up sometimes, like where our minds go to. So I wanted to touch on that today because we're really talking about tips to head out for an adventure. So I want to really talk to realize These are the things that stop us, that kind of hold us in our tracks, to be able to continue to move forward. And, again, figuring out how to go to work if it's your daily driver. But the reason I am on here with you today sharing this is that I believe the freedom, the adventure, the memories, how we can refuel ourselves, that turning everything off time, getting back to us, conquering things that we never thought were possible. I have done things I never thought that I could do. Some of it, yeah, behind the wheel of a Jeep, some of it outside of the Jeep, working on the Jeep, changing a tire, a big tire, all these different things, they change your life. So for me, the reason I'm bringing this forward today is I do believe the freedom is so important. The adventure, the camaraderie, doing things, filling your soul, and the ability to truly live life is crucially important. To me, we got to weigh, what are the risks? What are we afraid of? What's stopping us? What's holding us back from getting out there to do these things? But then what's that life transformation on the other side? We got to look at that, sometimes we got to push through to get to that other side. But I don't ever want you to push through and damage your Jeep or hurt yourself. That is my biggest passion. So that's why I'm sharing these 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventures today to get you started in a safe way, in a responsible way, so that you can feel good about what you know, the knowledge, the education, what you're building, and that confidence of, okay, I can get out there and I can do this. I can do this safely for myself and for my Jeep. And that there is a way to do this, to have these adventures, but to go about it in a calculated manner, to go about this with a process, with a plan, you know, building blocks. I'm a big step by step building blocks person, progression, so that you're careful, so that you don't get yourself in a situation that those fears are warranted or that anxiety is real. So that is what this is about today. So we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to share with you 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventures today. Tip number 1, we're talking about adventures. Take time to dream. So part of the Jeep adventure is about chasing dreams, creating memories, doing things you never thought possible. Like I just said, we might be going to Canada. Like, jumping in, taking the chance of doing those things you've always wanted to do. So I want you to really think that your Jeep adventure is about chasing dreams, your dreams. It's about creating memories, filling yourself with that freedom, the excitement, the experiences, because ultimately I want you to be able to be creating the feeling of living your life to the fullest. Not just living life, but living your life to the fullest. So, when I say dream big, create your bucket list. I have my bucket list. Every year, I carry some things back over from the previous year's bucket list, but make sure that you create your bucket list. I recommend the best way to do this, especially if you're getting started, do research. Find your dream destinations. We're doing some excursion events this year that are unbelievable, like our OBX Jeep excursion event and the Moab excursion event. These are things that you're going to a specific place to experience things that are only available there. There are so many options out there, and it doesn't even have to be Jeep trail related. It can be about experiences, and experiences that you only get because you're in your Jeep. For example, our OBX excursion event we're going to a 4x4 only beach where they have wild horses. We're going to an animal preserve to drive around on the trails, things that you get to experience because you have your Jeep. So it's not about a badge trail out there. It's not about the level of difficulty of those trails. It's about the experience, creating that. So your dream destination may be different than what's on my bucket list, might be different than what's on your friend's bucket list. That is what is so amazing about this. Do some research, find some things that you get to do and destination places to visit because you have your Jeep, and make your list and keep it where you can see it. I have my bucket list in my planner. Um, so I check it all the time. Uh, I have my bucket list right here because it's the same every year right now, for my bucket list destinations. But, make sure you're revisiting that. Make sure you're thinking ahead, thinking about where is that place? If you see something, add it to your bucket list. And it could be specific Jeep trails. I have the Rubicon Trail on my personal bucket list. So it could be specific trails, or parks as well, or it could be an excursion destination. This is where dream big. Take that time, do the research, have some fun with it, make your bucket list, decide where you want to go, get ready for it, plan the adventure, and take the trip. My tip number 2, know where you are going. You notice I said do research, 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 research. I am a big planner. I am a big step by step person. I like checklists, I like worksheets. I like to do research. But by doing that research and really knowing where you are going, it's going to set you up for success for a couple of reasons. One, you're going to know if there are any rules, regulations, things you need to follow, places you can go, places you can't go, all of those things before you get there. So you're going to already know what the rules are. You're going to already know what is around there. What are the trails like? Do your homework and your research. Because another thing that is going to be really important, because, I started with our fears and anxieties that hold us back. Then we moved into we got to dream. We got to do that research, make those plans, go for it. But as we were talking about know where you're going, knowing what trail levels and terrain are going to be so important because you want to make sure that you are on the right trail level and terrain for you. Great thing is this can change. But right now, where you are, make sure you've done your homework so you don't end up on a trail that is going to be harder than you want it to, going to have harder obstacles than your Jeep is ready for, which again throws us back into that fear and anxiety that we talked about when we first started today. So we want to stay in this place of adventure and dreaming, loving every moment, creating memories. These are how you set yourself up for those moments. So know what trail levels and terrain types are going to be there and what is going to be best for you. I always recommend, we do this at all of our events, I like to always drive down a little bit. So you're challenged, you're learning, but you're never put into a high stress situation that is going to damage your Jeep or put you at your max that maybe you're not ready for. The great thing is you can always continue to progress, but always make sure you're doing so in a way that not only is safe, but it feels good, right? Like you want to get better, you want to be challenged, but you don't want to end up somewhere where you break your Jeep or you damage your Jeep or you're like, I didn't know enough to be on that trail. Something bad happened. So do your homework and research before you ever just head out down a trail. Before you go on your adventure, what is the weather forecast? Always look. Always know, is it going to rain? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to freeze? What are those things that could affect the terrain? What's the weather going to be like? So that you're prepared, not only for your packing list, but also because you want to know if that terrain is going to change or if the difficulty is going to change based on the weather. I know a lot of the parks we go to, especially in the South, where you have clay and things like that, when it rains and it gets wet, those trails and those parks change drastically and quickly. So that is where doing your homework to know, like, if you have your plan all mapped out for your adventure and you have your trails mapped out, Check the weather. If it looks like it's going to rain a lot before you get there or while you're there, find out, are those trails going to change? Are they going to get harder? Does it pretty much stay the same? Know before you get there so you're prepared. So if you need to make any shifts, you're able to do so. Something else, always make sure people know where you are and where you are going. So people know, all right, I'm going to head out for this adventure. I'm going to be driving to this destination. Here is my plan. Here's when I think I should get there. Here are the trails I'm going to be taking. And here's when I should be back. Make sure someone always knows where you are going, regardless of how big of a group you're going with. What the plans are. Make sure someone who's not going to be on the trail ride knows exactly what your plans are so that, someone outside of your group will know, if they're like, man, Kristen was supposed to be back on Tuesday. It's Friday. Maybe we need to kind of start to worry and check into this. So always make sure that people know where you are going. Tip number 3, and again, super important. I have gone in depth on this a lot for you ladies, but something I feel like is crucially important. Make sure that you are going to have a great trail ride, a great adventure, is know who you are going with. This is so important. Here's something else to think about. Know who you're going with, but remember, we're all different. So we all have different likes, dislikes, different styles of driving, different ideas about terrain. So make sure you really know who you're going with. Make sure you ask questions so that you end up in a group that is going to be the best for you, your driving style, your level, your terrain. Do you know who you're going with? And I don't mean like, do you know? Yes, I know, like I've met this person online or they're a part of this Jeep group but like, do you know them personally? So do you know their personality? Do you know their driving style? Do you know how they handle stress? What is their experience level? Again, what do they drive like? And do your research. So if you're going with someone you don't know, say you're coming to a LadyJeepers event with me, research. You can watch videos of me driving different trails, teaching different things, testimonials from different events. Find out before you just head out, even if it's to join us. Make sure that you're getting feedback from other people. Make sure you see for yourself what the driving style is going to be like. What happens if there's stress? What happens if there's a problem? What happens something goes wrong? Those are all really important things to know before you ever sign up for your adventure or head out on your adventure. Another question I like to ask is, have they been to where you're going? So like this is a picture from Moab last year. For example, we're headed back out to Moab again this year. So excited. But know who you're riding with. And then you can ask them, like, have you been to this specific place before? Whether it's a park or an excursion ride. Do you know where you're going? Have you been there? Keep in mind, especially at off-road parks, trails change year to year with rain, with weather, with the amount of vehicle traffic. So each has been to a park. Like we're headed back to Roush for our third time every year to know our way around Roush. Of course. Do I have my favorite trails? You betcha. But do things change from year to year? Sometimes they do. Yes. So even going with someone who's been to this location, things may have changed and looked a little different. But you want to know you're going with someone who has an idea of where they're going, what the terrain is going to be like, and an idea of what it was like last time they were there or before. All of these things set you up for success. Number 4, know what to pack. Okay, this could be a huge packing list. So instead of giving you the full packing list. I'm going to go over the most important things to get you started, to make sure that you have in your vehicle, because sometimes it's going to depend on, are you going on a day excursion? Are you going camping? Are you going for a weekend? How close are you to town? How close are you to, like an advanced auto parts? Things like that will all determine what your packing list is going to look like. The farther out you're going to be, farther away you're going to be from a town. So that means groceries, food, an auto parts store, any of that, you're going to have to pack more to bring with you as you are going out so that you're prepared and have more with you, because you won't have the ability to go in and grab something if you need it. Always have a first aid kit. It could be a big survival first aid kit if you're going to be way out for a long period of time, or it can be a nice, easy starter kit, first aid kit. But make sure that you always have a first aid kit in your vehicle, regardless of which trail ride you're going to be on. Another thing, always have a cooler. Make sure you have water and snacks. Always pack water, even if you're not a water drinker. Like, I don't love water, but always make sure that you have sufficient amount of water with you in your cooler, and snacks. Because again, you don't know. Something could happen, someone could break, you could end up on a trail much longer than you thought you were going to be. So you always want to be prepared. Always have water, always have a cooler, always have snacks. And of course, secure your cooler in your vehicle so it's not bouncing around. We want to be extra safe. So, the first things to grab for your Jeep: safety equipment. Of course, you should have your first aid kit. I recommend a flashlight, a fire extinguisher, recovery gear. And again, the level of trail that you are doing is going to dictate how much equipment for recovery gear you need to have in your Jeep, a radio, and extra batteries. And that is kind of to just get you started. If you're going to be out somewhere uh, where you're going to be farther away, or weather could change quickly, you can get an emergency radio to have with you as well. So make sure you have a CB or a handheld radio for emergencies. When we're talking about recovery equipment, some of the kind of just get you started recovery equipment is going to be: make sure that you have a recovery strap, you have D-rings, a tree saver, a snatch block, a line damper, gloves, and a soft shackle. So that is if you have a winch. If you don't have a winch, you still need to have recovery gear so you can recover yourself, help get yourself out if something were to happen. So if you don't have a winch, you still need to have a recovery strap, D-rings, and soft shackles. Absolutely in your vehicle. If you have a winch, you're going to have more equipment and recovery equipment, because if you need to do a winch recovery, you're going to want to have all the additional equipment that you could need to use for a recovery. If you don't have a winch, still make sure that you have the basic recovery equipment with you. If you're going to be trail riding on sand a lot, make sure to get some traction boards to have in there. So where you're going to be also is going to determine what recovery equipment you're going to keep in your Jeep. But that's kind of to get you started so that you know you have the right things with you. 5, and to me, this is the most important tip out of our 5 tips today. Get education and knowledge before you head out on adventures or head out on the trails. To me, that is so important. So before you get behind the wheel and head out to drive, I like to think of this as like driver's ed. When we were learning how to drive before we went out on the road, I guess depending on where you lived, like for me, I had to go through, uh, like the workbooks and the written part and reading and the education. I sat in the classroom and learned, and then we got behind the wheel and we went out and practiced what we learned, because we already had a basic understanding. Driving off-road is no different. Yeah, we have driver's license. I know, like, I've been driving on the road forever, it feels like, but that doesn't mean that just because I have a driver's license, I've gone through all the driver training for on the road, it's not all going to apply to off road. It's its own education and knowledge base. There are so many things that are the same and so many that are different. So I like to say, before you get behind the wheel and just drive off on the trail as you're driving, it's just like when we got our driver's license and we had to go through our classroom and our learning and the education. And then we went out and practiced, and then we got our driver's license. So to me, it's kind of the same thing. So you want to get the knowledge and education beforehand. That way you have an idea of when you're supposed to do things, how, why, the best way to approach something. And even if you haven't hands on done it yet, that way you still have that knowledge base, that understanding of what you're doing out there. That way you are prepared, confident, and know what you need to do when. That is one of the most important pieces. When I start talking about knowledge and confidence, a lot of it is knowing in a situation, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now, the more you're behind the wheel, the more that you have seat time, the greater your skills are going to go, right? Like you have to get behind the wheel and you have to do it and apply it to get better. But just remember, you want the knowledge and the idea ahead of time before you just get out there to try it. Because again, we don't want to jump back to where we were at the very beginning of this class, talking about fear and anxiety, damaging our Jeep, all of those things. We want to stay in the adventures, the memories, the excitement, living life to the fullest. So if you have some ideas and understanding, for example, like, all right, there's a hill. Okay, I know I got to let the vehicle in front of me go first. I know I have to keep even momentum. I know I want to try to keep the gas as regulated as possible so I'm not stabbing the gas. I know how I can use my automatic shifter to help with that. I know what gear to have my manual in. I understand which model of Jeep I have. So I know, for example, if I have a Rubicon, I'm going to drive it a little differently than a Sport when I'm going up a hill in four low, when to use four low and four high, so that it helps to alleviate those moments of stress and those moments of fear and those moments of anxiety where you're like, I don't know what to do, or I didn't know what to do, so I got stuck, or I didn't know what to do, so I made a mistake. And that's part of learning. And that's going to happen with the hands on. And when you are out there putting everything to work, when you are out there building that seat time and those skills and practicing. But the great thing is when you feel pretty confident about your foundation, when you get behind the wheel and you put it in four low and you head out there, you're like, okay, I feel like I at least know some things that I can be practicing and that I'm aware of. So I'm not just going to go out here. It'd be like, if we never went through any driver training and just got behind the wheel and pulled out in traffic, right? Same idea and same thing. We wouldn't know what the rules are at a four-way stop. All of these things, right? So it's kind of that exact same idea, but we're going to apply it to off-road. So I wanted to take a minute because what if I had a program just for you where you can dive into a step-by-step process to take you safely and confidently out on the trail, to feel confident, to take those bucket list adventures, go to those places, do those things where I will walk you through the step-by-step process of what you need to know, what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you're going to do it. And of course, to me, something that's so important for me is why. Don't just tell me I have to air my tires down, then show me how to air my tires down and not explain why I'm going to air my tires down. Same thing with disconnecting my sway bar. Don't just say like, oh no, yeah. So you need to disconnect your sway bar before you head out on the trail. Here's how you do it. Okay, well, why do I disconnect it? Or do I always disconnect it when I go out on the trail? So I will walk you through this step-by-step process of what you do, what you need to know, And of course, the why and the how and the when. Those are the three most important pieces to learn. So, what I want is I want to move you from worry, from fear, especially that fear of damaging your Jeep, that fear of that risk of the money that you would spend fixing your Jeep. Or worse, I want to move you away from the anxiety of missing work or something happening to your huge financial investment. Things can happen. And then, that's always a risk we're taking, whether we're driving to the store or we're going down the trail. But I want to help to give you all the information to help to lessen that risk of ever having that issue happen to you. So I want to create and shift you into a confidence that you and your Jeep can stay safe while creating freedom, memories, and adventures while truly living your life to the fullest. So, would you like more information? And if you would, just put a hashtag more in the comments, and I will get you everything that you need today. You could start today. Start moving towards your confidence, your self sufficiency, and adventure. So if you want to know more, go ahead and just drop hashtag more. I personally will reach out to you. I will get you some information. We can have some conversations together. I always love getting to chat with you, amazing ladies. And let's go ahead and make 2022 the year of adventure, the year of living life to the fullest for everyone and doing so in a way that we're moving away from fear, away from worry, away from anxiety, and driving into self sufficiency, into confidence, and into those memories that will last a lifetime. So, I know that was a lot today with sharing those 5 tips. I know I kind of went off track. I feel like I always do that. I get a little passionate and then I kind of start on my own little path. So I do apologize for that. But before I jump in, I'm going to do a quick overview because I know, like I said, I had the 5 tips I wanted to share. I kind of went on my own trail and path down those 5 tips. So I will share in a nutshell really quickly about those 5 tips here right before we jump off. But I want to go back through and I want to make sure that I did not miss anybody's questions or comments in here. Paula, great question. So I want to go through and make sure I don't miss anyone. So are there starter trails in PA? So when we are in Roush in Pennsylvania, we are going to be doing a 101 and 201 event there. So there are 101 trails. We do have a minimum of a 33-inch tire requirement for the beginner. They are beginner trails, but they are not what I consider stock friendly trails. So just keep that in mind. They are beginner. We'll be going through all of our 101 program. So all the things you need to do to get started in the 101 program, airing down, disconnecting sway bars. We'll be going over tire placement, knowing where your tires are. We'll be going over trail etiquette, safety, winch and recovery. So all of our 101 program, the only difference is it is not stock friendly. I say that, but if you have a JLU, JT that is stock, you can sign up stock. Anything that's an older generation, if you are still bone stock, we did make it a 33 requirement. We have done a 101 stock vehicle event there before, and it was good. It just was a little challenging, a little tougher than I would want for someone's first trail ride out in a stock vehicle. So yes, there are going to be starter trails there. Again, like I shared in our class today, I always err on the side of caution because I do believe so much in a building block system. And I believe if you jump too far too fast, it actually sets you back even more. Because if you have a bad experience because you jumped too far too fast, maybe in your confidence level or trail level, and something bad happens, it can set you way back even farther back than just getting started, because now you have to work through a reasoning of your fear. So I am a huge believer that you follow your system. You are always cautious, you are learning, you are pushing yourself, you are developing, but you never jump too far ahead to that next level that you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for something bad to happen. So I'm very, very careful about that. I will share in case you're on here for the first time and you're not aware of my background. I was a professional horse trainer and coach for 20 years. So, a lot of that whole building block system, the levels, progressions, really, and the technicality of like our driving skills and using cones and knowing where the tires are. So much of that has actually come from my professional background as a horse trainer. And again, when I say don't skip levels. A lot of that comes because when you have a bad experience with horses, um, I mean, Jeeps can be dangerous. You can break your Jeep, you can get hurt. Um, but when you have a bad experience with horses, it to me, it goes bad, really bad, fast. So that's where this whole yes, you want to progress, you want to get better, but there's going to be a building block and your skills are going to match as you continue to move so that you don't say, like, for example, in the horse world, like, oh, yeah, so I've been jumping 2 foot and now I'm going to move to 3 foot. And then it crashes, people get hurt, animals get hurt, and it's terrible. So it's that same idea with the Jeep. You got to follow the progression. You got to have a path. There's skills that have to be developed for each different level so that when you do get out there to a hard level, you're ready and you just rock it. So that is a little something that I bring forward. I feel like is maybe a little different than some other coaches. All right, I'm gonna scroll way back. I don't want to miss anybody. We got Kendra, we got Shay, we have Carrie, Lori. You ladies are awesome. They're all talking about convoys to our event. I love it. Everyone's going to meet everybody. I love it. So she was saying she has 2 big first aid kits and a case of water in her Jeep. That is prepared. Always make sure that you put in that time to be prepared. Oh, hello. I'm so glad that you are here for the first time with us. I love it. Don't forget snacks for others too. We got 5-gallon bottles of water. I love that. Shay, I love that she shared that. Yes, this year is really my conquering and defeat in my personal battle, but it's totally pushing me. I love it. So love it. I love seeing the more for more information. I love that you just got your Jeep. Paula, congratulations. And if you have any questions, just let us know. That's what we are here for. S'more. S'more is amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's so many great things about s'more, ladies. If you're not familiar, it is Southern Missouri off-road ranch. Okay. There's a reason they call it a ranch. It is set up. Well, okay. It was built originally to be a dude ranch, like a ranch for horse people to come in, bring their horses to this facility. So it is set up like westerny. There's like corrals for the camping. The cabins are absolutely beautiful. So the facilities, and there still are horses there in a barn. The facilities there are phenomenal. Phenomenal. It is just such a great place. There's like camping and where you go to relax. Then we're going to talk about the trails. So for some more, we're going to be doing the same thing, a 101 and a 201 event there. So our 101 will be covering the getting started aspect. So again, it's airing your tires down, disconnecting sway bars, trail etiquette, winch and recovery. Our 201 will be going over a quick overview of that, but then also they'll be going into like towing is the next step up for recovery. They will be going over lines. They will be going over so a little bit harder training for that next step up for the 201. The trails will be a little bit different. I will tell you, S'more, the trails are beautiful. We did a 101 event there last year, and it was amazing. That's why we're going to combine and do a 101 and 201 there this year. So either level can register. We will break the trails up based on the level and the training as well. The trails there, you get to drop down and actually go down into the riverbed. And so a big section of the trails, you actually are down driving in the river there, which is beautiful, peaceful, so amazing. So I love S'more. I love not only the facilities for us, but the trails are fantastic. I love rivers. I love water. So to me, having a off-road place that you can go where it is acceptable because the trails themselves are marked in the different creeks and the different rivers is amazing. I love it. So yes. So if you're thinking about S'more, S'more is fantastic. Oh, Paula, I love that you have reached your dream. That is amazing. Oh, and our ladies who have been a part of LadyJeepers, been to our events, been through our training are amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, ladies, please try to make an event. It will change your life. I promise you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so very, very much. All right, let me see if I missed any more comments. S'more or Roush? All right, here I can help you decide. Ready? They're both amazing. Oh my gosh, they are both amazing. So here's the difference. If you're thinking S'more or Roush, you're going to have rocks. So it's going to be a little rockier, a little more rock crawling. S'more does have rocks as well, but Roush, depending on the weather, is going to be drier and you're going to have more rocky trails, more rocky terrain. S'more, you are going to have more water. So you're going to have like creek and river. And so there's going to be more water there. So they're two different terrain types. So I would ask, if you're trying to make the decision there, I would ask yourself, water and kind of some rocks. They're both amazing places to come to. The events are spectacular at both of the parks. Roush is amazing. This will be our third or fourth year there in a row. What I absolutely love is the staff of the park is fantastic. The very first time we went up there, I got to jump in with one of the co-owners, and she took me out and we went around and had a great time trail riding together. I got to learn more about her, the park, and they have always been so accommodating for us that I absolutely love going to Roush. I try to always make sure that we are supporting other businesses that are run extremely well, supporting other women in business. So I love Roush. But I'll tell you, S'more was absolutely fantastic and absolutely amazing. So let's see. I know nothing about off-road consulting, Liz. I've never heard of them. So I just did 101 guided trail rides at AOAA in Pennsylvania. That is a park we're going to check out. We haven't been there yet, just because, again, we had such an amazing welcoming at Roush that I felt like loyalty lies there. So whether it's a company, whether it's a park, whether it's anything that Lady Jeepers recommends directly to anyone. It is always customer service, how they interact, especially with the ladies, the quality, all of those things are absolutely top priority. So I know I have stressed that in the past, but always make sure if Lady Jeepers has put their name behind somebody, referred somebody, told you somewhere to go, there's a reason for it. So we are super loyal and supportive for those who are doing things to help others, doing things in a right way. I want to go to S'more too. Woohoo! Sign up. We still got spots for S'more and Roush. Tucker, Georgia. All right. So I can tell you because we are just north of you in Georgia. Uh, the S'more event is closer than the Roush event as far as distance and driving time. I don't remember exactly how long it took us last year. I want to say 11 hours to S'more. And then I want to say Roush is about 15. So definitely look for sure for you though, because I am north. I'm almost at the Chattanooga line in Georgia, but it's not terrible. Again, adventures, travel adventures too, things that you will never forget. Liz said, I get Roush loyalty. That is awesome. Um, so I love it. All right, ladies, I'm going to do a super quick recap just because I want to make sure that I really touch on the 5 tips today because I kind of drove my own trail and path and got a little passionate and off a little bit in some directions. But I just wanted to share because I want to make sure that all of you ladies have exactly what you need to not only get you out and enjoying your Jeep and creating adventures and doing things amazing in your life, but doing so safely and helping to break through worry and fear and anxiety. Because let's be honest, if you are fearful or worried or you have anxiety the whole time you're driving, you're not going to enjoy it. And I want you to enjoy the entire experience because memories being made, experiences, getting to get out and just like turn everything off is so important. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're worried or you have anxiety and fear as you are out there. So I wanted to make sure that you knew there are steps that you can take before you ever get behind the wheel of your Jeep to ensure that you feel confident, you feel self sufficient, and you have those tools that you need to get yourself started. So, again, I will be jumping in here today. I will be responding personally to you. We can have some conversations if you would like to. So drop a hashtag more in the comment and I will go ahead and send you a message directly if you would like to find out more and if you want to chat. Also, please feel free to jump over to the Lady Jeepers page on Facebook or send us a message in Instagram. It doesn't matter. Just reach out and shoot a message if you have any questions or anything that comes up where you'd like to have a conversation. That's what we're here for, bringing education and knowledge forward to ladies. Most important thing to me. That's what we. That's what we do. That's what we're doing here. All right. So I will really quickly do our nice recap for today because I want to make sure that I really do go over with you how important these 5 tips are as you get ready to get out there. So, in a nutshell, what did we talk about today? So, what we talked about today was, oh, I hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry. All right, let's try again. In a nutshell, what did we talk about today? We talked about that Jeeps are a lot of fun. But if you're not careful, you can easily get into trouble, have fear, anxiety, worry about something happening to your Jeep. And I want you to have a lot of fun, but it's important that you do so safely, responsibly, and confidently. So that is why I shared with you 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventures today. Tip number 1 was take time to dream because we're talking about adventures. We're not talking about trips or weekends. We're talking truly about creating adventures, creating memories, um, living our life to the fullest, making our bucket list. So make sure that you take that time, do some research, decide where you want to go, start to put those trips and those adventures together. Tip 2, really important, especially as you're doing your research, know where you are going. Different places have different rules, regulations. They may have different requirements of equipment that you have to have with you, places you can and can't go with your vehicle. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure you know what the terrain type is going to be like and the difficulty of those trails. So do your homework. Know if it is bad weather, if that's going to affect the trails. Are they going to be more difficult? And know and make sure that you are putting yourself on trails that are going to be enjoyable. So you're lessening the risk of damaging your huge investment. I totally get it. 3, I talk about this so much. Reason being, I've heard so many stories of, I wish I hadn't gone on that trail ride, or I went on a terrible trail ride, or I wish I hadn't gone with those people. So make sure, this is such a crucially important tip. Know who you're going with, know who you're going out with, know what their driving style is like. Do they drive fast? Do they drive slow? What is their vehicle built like? Are you guys on the same plane? Look them up, see what kind of driving style they have. Ask them questions. Do you know them personally? What's their personalities like? How are they going to handle stress? What if something goes wrong? Make sure you know before you ever head out down the trail who you really are going out with. That can help to create a successful trail ride, or one of those, I wish I had never gone on the trail rides. So you've already done your homework. You already know the terrain. You already know the level. So now you need to make sure you know who you're going out there with so you don't put yourself into a bad situation. Number 4, know what to pack. So basically, you're going to pack safety for you and your Jeep. That includes water, that includes snacks, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, recovery gear. Of course, there is more, but those are the most important things to make sure you get in your Jeep. And 5, get education and knowledge before you head out on adventures or trails. Again, like I said, it's just like driver's ed. We had to sit in the classroom. We had to learn. We had to know what the rules were, when we did things, how, why, all of those before we got behind the wheel and just drove out into traffic. Same idea for you and your Jeep before you just drive off into the unknown and onto the trail. So these 5 tips for starting your Jeep adventures today give you a quick starting place to safely and confidently begin your adventures. Don't forget, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we are live right here for a cup of coffee with Kristen and talking Jeeps. I like to think of this as our Jeep lunch break, or our, Jeep 15-minute break, so that we get to spend some time talking Jeeps, learning, and education. So mark your calendar, every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be jumping on live with you on our way to Jeep Beach. Woohoo! Super excited. So next week's is going to be just a quick check-in for a cup of coffee, talking a little bit about adventures, traveling, being on the road. So you get to jump on with us live as we head down our adventure to Jeep Beach. So I'm excited. All right. Thank you for spending some time with me today, ladies. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for spending some time jumping on here, building your Jeep knowledge and education. And again, don't forget, if you want to learn more, if you want that process hands-on, step-by-step, drop a hashtag more, or go ahead and reach out directly. Send us a message. I would love to jump on and talk with you if you're looking for more ways to break through so that you can shift from fear, anxiety, worry, and jump out there and start living your life to the fullest. Thank you. Great information as always. Thank you, Regina. So glad to be on here today. I love it. I've been MIA with the Jeep Build course and from all these lives. Oh, well, I'm so glad you're back. That's all that matters. Ooh, Michelle, I will see you at Jeep Beach. I cannot wait. If you're coming to Jeep Beach, make sure you come by and check us out I will be going live from Jeep Beach, sharing from Jeep Beach. You cannot miss our purple tents. We will be at Daytona Speedway on Friday and Saturday set up. So come on by. If you are coming and you have a Lady Jeepers shirt, make sure that you wear your Lady Jeepers shirt as you come by, and we will have a surprise for you. Lady Jeepers is also doing some amazing Jeep Beach specials, and we're going to have a contest going on. So some of it we'll be sharing right here on social media. Some of it will be for Jeep Beach only. So if you are going to be at Jeep Beach, make sure you come by, say hi. We will be at the booth all day Friday and Saturday at Daytona Speedway. So come by. Make sure we would love to see you. And I hope to see you then. So I will hopefully see you next Wednesday live, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here for our cup of coffee and Talking Jeeps with Kristen. And again, we will be live on the road. So it could be an adventure. You never know what's going to happen when we jump on live as we're on the road. So I can't wait to see you then. And then don't forget, please don't hesitate to reach out if you would like some more information on how I can help you on your Jeep journey. So I will see you again soon. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Great rest of your week. I appreciate you so much for jumping on here with me. I will see you again soon. Bye.